You ever feel like your soul's been dimmed, like the world been trying to hush your shine, like love became a distant echo instead of your power source? Then lean in, because this is your moment. This is your rise. This is your soul love radiance awakening, not a whisper, not a flicker, a fire, a storm, a glow so fierce it lights up every shadow that tried to break you. You are not broken. You are becoming. People talk about love like it's something you earn, like you gotta chase it, like you're not already made of it. But baby, listen, love is your origin story. Love is your superpower. Love is not just something you feel, it's who you are. And when you remember that, when you claim that, the whole game changes. You don't need anyone to complete you. You complete the moment you decide to love yourself like you're the whole universe wrapped in a heartbeat. That's when the radiance begins. You are already love. It's your origin, not something to chase. That truth alone can change the entire trajectory of your life. The world constantly tries to convince you that love is external, that it's a reward, something you must work for, prove yourself worthy of, or desperately try to attract. But the deepest shift happens when you realize that love isn't something outside of you. It's not something you have to beg for, earn, or perform to receive. It's what you were made from. It's the essence that shaped your soul, the original frequency you came into this world vibrating with. Love is your default. It's your birthright. It's not a destination. It's your foundation. When you internalize that, you stop chasing and start remembering. You stop exhausting yourself trying to fit into someone else's definition of lovable, and instead you begin to embody the truth that you were born as love in motion. You no longer need to shrink for acceptance or twist yourself into someone you're not just to feel seen. You don't question your value based on someone else's ability or inability to recognize your light. Because once you know you are love, not just worthy of it, but made of it, then no rejection, no abandonment, no delay can diminish your truth. That kind of knowing is power. It's healing. It's liberation. It changes how you speak to yourself in the mirror. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how you walk into a room, no longer asking, will they like me, but instead radiating, I love me and that's enough. You begin to move differently. You glow differently. Your energy becomes sovereign, and that shift makes you magnetic. Not because you're seeking attention, but because people can feel your authenticity, your wholeness, your unshakable sense of self-worth. That's the kind of energy that shifts rooms, changes dynamics, and calls in everything that's aligned. Love becomes less about needing and more about choosing. You stop trying to be lovable and realize you already are. From that place, the love you offer others is clean, powerful, and free. It's not transactional, it's intentional. You no longer need people to complete you. You love from overflow, not from lack. You stop settling for crumbs because you've remembered you are the feast. And that remembrance, that return to your origin, becomes the ignition for your full radiance. No one can take that from you. Not circumstances, not history, not mistakes. You've always been love. The journey isn't about becoming it. It's about clearing the noise, healing the lies, and stripping away every layer that made you forget. Because once you remember who you are, once you feel that soul deep knowing, you become unstoppable. You start leading from your heart, not your hurt. And in that energy, you don't just find your power, you are the power. You are love in motion. And that is the foundation of your radiance. Radiance comes from self-acceptance, not perfection. The world will tell you to fix yourself, to edit your flaws, to filter your truth. But that's not where the glow lives. The glow is in your realness, your vulnerability, your raw presence. When you stop trying to be something you're not and start embracing everything that you are, your energy shifts. You stop seeking permission to be seen. You stop hiding parts of yourself just to feel safe. You begin to show up fully, and that's when your radiance becomes undeniable. The truth is, people don't connect to perfection. They connect to authenticity. They're drawn to what's real, what's unfiltered, what's unafraid to be human. You don't inspire by pretending to have it all together. You inspire by owning your story, your struggles, your triumphs, and your truth. That's what lights people up. That's what gives others the courage to drop their masks too. Your acceptance of yourself becomes a mirror that helps others accept themselves. You've been conditioned to believe that you'll shine once you lose the weight, heal the wound, achieve the goal, or fix the flaws, but your glow isn't on the other side of a transformation, it's within you now. The moment you decide to stop fighting yourself, stop judging yourself, and start loving who you are in this exact moment, something magical happens. You soften, you expand, you begin to radiate a quiet, confident light that doesn't demand attention, but effortlessly attracts it. When you love yourself in your mess, in your process, in your in-between, you reclaim your power. You become untouchable by opinions because your worth is no longer tied to how you're perceived. You stand tall in your truth, flaws and all, and you shine from a place that's deeper than appearance. It's soul shine. It's inner fire. It's the kind of glow that no makeup, no filter, no outfit can replicate because it comes from within. Self-acceptance doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you love yourself through the growth. You stop punishing yourself for not being there yet and start celebrating who you are right now. And ironically, it's that radical acceptance that accelerates your transformation. When you stop resisting who you are, you free up your energy to become all that you're meant to be. You move from force to flow. You stop chasing radiance and start embodying it. That's the key. You don't wait to be perfect to love yourself. You love yourself, and that's what makes you radiant. Your imperfections aren't obstacles, they're access points to deeper power. Your story, with all its twists and turns, is what makes your light unique. So wear your truth boldly, walk in your fullness, speak from your heart. Your radiance is already here. It was never about becoming flawless, it was always about becoming free. And freedom begins with acceptance. Your pain is part of your power. The very things you thought would break you are actually preparing you. The heartbreaks, the rejections, the lonely nights, the moments where you questioned your worth, those weren't just trials, they were transformations. Every scar carries a lesson. Every tear holds wisdom. And every crack in your heart created space for more light to pour in. Pain isn't your weakness. It's the proof that you've lived, that you've felt deeply, and that you've survived what was meant to destroy you. That survival is power. That endurance is strength. That healing is your rebirth. Too often we're told to bury our pain, to hide our sadness, to toughen up and pretend it didn't hurt. But the truth is, your pain is sacred. It is a portal. It teaches you who you are when everything falls apart. It strips away illusions and brings you face to face with your rawest self. And that version of you, the one who cried, who broke, who kept breathing through it all, is not weak. That version of you is the strongest, most honest version of your soul. The glow you carry now didn't come from ease. It came from walking through fire and refusing to lose your softness. When you embrace your pain instead of running from it, you reclaim your story. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of life and start realizing you've always been the hero. The wounds you carry are not stains, they are symbols. Symbols that you felt deeply, that you loved fiercely, that you risked your heart, that you showed up when you had every reason to shut down. You didn't give up on yourself even when it would have been easier to numb out. That's resilience, that's bravery. That's what makes your radiance unforgettable. Pain doesn't define you, but it does refine you. It sharpens your intuition. It deepens your compassion. It makes your love more intentional. You learn who's really in your corner. You learn how to hold space for others who are hurting because you know what that ache feels like. You become the safe place you never had. And from that place, you don't just survive. You start to lead. You guide others, not by preaching, but by being living proof that the darkness didn't win. Don't ever be ashamed of your pain. Don't silence it. Don't minimize it. Honor it. Let it become art. Let it become your message. Let it become the soil where your greatest strength grows. Because on the other side of pain is power. And that power is rooted in empathy and wisdom, in depth that cannot be faked. When you rise from what was meant to bury you, you rise with fire in your soul and grace in your eyes. You carry a different kind of light, one that doesn't burn out because it was born from surviving the night. Your pain is part of your power. Own it. Alchemize it. Let it radiate. Soul Love. You don't need validation. You are the standard. There's a point where you stop living for applause and start living for alignment. You stop adjusting yourself to meet someone else's approval because deep down you realize you were never meant to fit into their box. You were born to break the mold. Validation becomes irrelevant when you recognize that your worth is not up for negotiation. It isn't a vote. It isn't based on likes, attention, praise, or anyone's opinion. You are the standard, not because someone said so, but because you decide to believe it with every breath, every step, every choice. There's a power that comes when you stop chasing outside affirmation and turn inward. Suddenly you start asking different questions. Instead of, will they like me? You ask, do I feel like myself? Instead of, was I enough for them? You ask, was I true to me? That shift is where your energy levels up. That's where confidence becomes unshakable because the world's opinions are unstable, here today, gone tomorrow, but your truth is eternal. It lives in your soul, not in someone's comment section. And when you learn to validate yourself, you move like you've already won because you have. You've won your freedom. Being the standard means you stop comparing your path to someone else's highlight reel. You realize you're not in competition. Your journey, your energy, your voice, it's unmatched. No one can do you like you. No one can think your thoughts, feel your passion, dream your visions. That's your magic. That's your power. And when you walk in that, there's a magnetism to you. Not because you're louder, not because you're trying harder, but because you're fully embodied. You walk like you know who you are. You speak like every word matters. You move like your presence is a blessing, and it is. When you're the standard, you stop lowering your frequency to be accepted. You elevate the room just by being in it. You show people what it looks like to honor yourself, to set boundaries without guilt, to say no without explanation, to love without losing yourself. You don't shrink when someone is uncomfortable with your glow. You don't dim when someone can't handle your power. You understand that it's not your job to be less, it's their job to rise or step aside. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's knowing that when you were created, you weren't made by accident. You weren't made average. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to embody truth, love, and light in your own unique way. And when you show up as that full version of yourself, the world adjusts. Opportunities find you. The right people recognize you. Life starts to mirror back the love and worth you give yourself. So stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Stop hoping someone will see your value. See it for yourself and watch how everything begins to shift. You don't need validation. You are the validation. You are the blueprint. You are the standard. And once you claim that, you never go back to begging for what you already are.
Your light inspires others to rise. The moment you stop hiding and start owning your energy, your truth, your love, something powerful begins to happen. You become a mirror. Not just a reflection of beauty or confidence, but a reflection of permission. You silently give others the freedom to be themselves simply by being yourself. Without preaching, without persuading, without trying to fix anyone, your presence alone becomes a catalyst. You lead with your light, and in doing so, you show people what's possible. You show them what it looks like to glow from within, to choose love over fear, to be whole without needing to be perfect.
When you show up authentically, others feel it. They may not say it out loud, but they're moved by your boldness. They're touched by your rawness. They're awakened by your choice to be vulnerable, radiant, and real all at once. It's not about being louder than everyone. It's about being truer. Your light doesn't compete. It inspires. It whispers to others. You can shine too. And in a world that teaches us to dim ourselves to belong, to shrink, to be accepted, your unapologetic glow becomes revolutionary. You don't need a stage to lead. You don't need a title, a platform, or even the right words. Your energy speaks. Your vibe teaches. Your actions model a kind of strength that comes from self-love, a kind of joy that comes from alignment, a kind of grace that comes from knowing who you are and refusing to be less than that. And every time you rise, you lift others. Every time you choose healing over bitterness, hope over despair, power over pity, you show the world what real transformation looks like. You are a light worker whether you realize it or not. Your journey with all its ups and downs is sacred. And when you choose to keep showing up with love in your heart, you create ripple effects. Someone somewhere sees you and says, if they can keep going, maybe I can too. That's the beauty of living in your radiance. It doesn't just change you, it changes everything you touch. There's someone watching you become. Someone who's been afraid to rise, to speak, to love themselves until they saw you doing it. And it's not pressure, it's purpose. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing to be seen, willing to shine, willing to grow out loud. You don't need to have it all together to make an impact. You just need to be present, real, and full of light. That's enough to awaken hearts. So keep glowing, keep rising, keep loving out loud. Your radiance is not just yours, it's a gift to everyone around you. Be the living proof that healing is possible, that love is powerful, that light wins. You inspire not because you're trying to, but because you are being. And in being fully yourself, you give others the courage to do the same. You are the revolution. Lead with love and power. There comes a point when you realize that your presence isn't just personal, it's purposeful. You were never meant to just go through the motions, follow the rules, or blend into a world that tries to make everyone the same. You came to disrupt, to awaken, to shift the frequency around you. And the most powerful way you do that isn't by force, it's by radiating love that's rooted in power. A love that's not soft and passive, but bold, clear, and magnetic. A love that doesn't beg to be accepted, but stands tall in its truth, even if it's misunderstood. That kind of love is revolutionary. To lead with love and power is to embody balance. You don't choose between being kind and being strong, you become both. You show up with a heart wide open, but a spirit grounded. You don't let the world harden you, even when it hurts. You don't let fear silence you, even when it's loud. You don't let doubt paralyze you, even when it creeps in. You feel it all, and you keep glowing anyway. That's leadership. That's revolution. Not in protest of who you were, but in devotion to who you're becoming. Being the revolution doesn't mean you scream louder than others. It means you vibrate higher. You move with clarity. You act from alignment. You choose peace, not because you're weak, but because you know your energy is too precious to waste. You protect your power not by shutting down, but by rising up in truth. Your boundaries are rooted in self-respect. Your vision is fueled by purpose, and your influence comes from how deeply you know who you are. Every time you choose to love yourself in a world that profits from your insecurity, you're rebelling. Every time you choose joy when sadness feels easier, you're shaking something loose. Every time you walk into a space with your head high and your energy loud, you're claiming territory. Not just physically, but energetically. You're showing what it means to be a soul unapologetically alive. That kind of power doesn't need permission. That kind of love doesn't ask to be seen. It just is, and it transforms everything it touches. You are not just living, you are leading. You are modeling what it looks like to love fiercely, to shine honestly, to move with intention. And you don't have to be perfect to do it. Your evolution is the mentorship. Your glow is the example. Your truth is the light. So walk boldly even if your voice shakes. Glow loudly even if not everyone understands. Dance to your own rhythm even if it breaks every rule they tried to give you. Because this isn't about fitting in, it's about standing out. It's about becoming a walking reminder that love is power, and power rooted in love is unstoppable. You are not just part of the change, you are the change. The moment you own that, you become the revolution this world didn't even know it was waiting for.